There it is. This billion-euro Nucleo reactor was built in the 70s but never switched on. But it's still there, and I managed to get inside and experience one of the most mesmerizing musical moments I've had in life. And playing there was so inspiring with that sound that we made it into a pedal. A reverb pedal that even goes beyond what I experienced. Here it is, the Nucleo. This is a reverb pedal made in collaboration with Cornerstone. I'm at the Cornerstone HQ. Based on the jaw-dropping sounds I experienced inside an abandoned nuclear power plant. Because if you were here 2 years ago, you might remember me playing guitar in that awesome place. And from the first note, it was just a surreal experience, and I wanted everyone to be able to feel it too. So the second part of this video will be me demonstrating the beautiful sounds this pedal has to offer, but it isn't the full story without, well, me getting the first text from my friend Emilio. Paul, do you want to make this pedal? So everyone wanted it. Me too, so heck yeah. So this pedal builds on that sound, but it goes so much further. It's a stereo reverb pedal, handmade, hand-built in Italy by the lovely Linda and Lorenzo, as you can see here.
All the Nucleos. No way. So you better buy one because we have supply.
So in the beginning it started with a lot of brainstorm sessions, calls like what do we want in the pedal, what features do we want, what knobs, what layout, etc, etc. But one choice we locked in quite soon was in the video where I'm visiting 3 different places. Those are the 3 different reverbs we have in the pedal. The control room, which is the room reverb. The cooling chamber, which is the hall. And of course, the massive nuclear floor. And then months, well, I guess even more than a year later, I saw the first prototype in real life when Max and Emilio from Cornerstone visited the studio. There's 2 pitch shifters on the fader.
Yes.
And so with the pedal in hand, I could very easily see what works, what didn't work, and you know what this pedal had to offer. That was almost 1 year ago, and since then the pedal has been completely redesigned. Because having the pedal in the hand, it just, it triggers so much emotion, so much thoughts about what this pedal could be even more and what could improve. And I think I was pretty annoying at some point, constantly wanting new features in this pedal, but luckily we all got them in the pedal, which is quite insane for such a small form factor. So during that year, the pedal was growing more and more into what I envisioned it to be, what I wanted it, what I dreamt it could be. Just amazing. But as the deadline drew closer and closer, we noticed that working remotely is there is a barrier. It's, well, pretty challenging at some points. So we decided to all go to Italy. Work there full-time on the pedal until we were finished. So I went there. Hey, what's up? My name is Paul Davids. We were in Italy. And it's tight parking, but I managed to get away without a scratch. Got some ice cream. So the whole crew got together, all of us putting our focus into finishing the pedal. Max and Alessandro, the DSP wizards, explaining to me how modulation works, so I could then explain what I wanted the modulation to sound like more easy. It's all those little things are really helpful in real life. Yeah, this is way better. I love this. This is actually what I want, modulation. So this was also the first time I saw the actual brain behind the pedal and the PCB.
An audio transformer. When you're playing the Nucleo in stereo, the 2 jacks doesn't share the ground. And this is really important to avoid ground loops. Isolated output and switches so you can flip the phase so you avoid phase cancellations between the 2 amps. Is input, mono or stereo. The type of stereo audio you want to use. Choose stereo or wet drive.
Well, we made it work. It's lovely because here we are. I'm very proud to present to you finally after, well, 3 years of development, the Nucleo. It sounds really spectacular. So this is it, the Nucleo. I see this pedal as having 3 sections, basically. The 2 big red knobs, the faders, ooh, so satisfactory, and the 3 little dials over here. And then every control has a secondary function, easily controllable with this little switch. Now everything is in secondary mode. And don't worry, because all the controls are labeled. Every secondary function is written down below the main function. Oh, I love it. So let's get to the first knob, this one. This is the main knob where we control the different rooms we are in. From a simple room, which isn't simple, it sounds lovely, to a massive hall, beautiful hall reverb, to the one and only Reactor mode. That's where the magic happens, as they say. Super beautiful, massive, larger than life reverb. And then as a secondary function on this knob, we can control the characteristics of the reverbs. From, we see the 3 illuminating, telling us we're in normal mode, to vintage mode. Vintage mode, yeah, that sounds like it's gonna sound amazing. And then lo-fi mode. And then the 3 modes are controlling the different reverb characteristics, making them more gritty, adding a lot of beautiful things to the reverbs, and not only to the reverbs. More on that later. So let's just put it on normal for now and keep on going, because this is the Reactor and this is the blend, and it determines how much dry signal gets sent through. So this is full wet. This is all the way dry. Boring! We need reverb. Okay. So let's put it like 2 o'clock. Yes, sir. Beautiful. Let's move on to the second section. Let's go to the little knobs, because these ones control the basic functions of the reverbs. The decay, which is how long the reverb is, and the pre-delay are on the first knob. Pre-delay, decay. So the decay in Reactor mode, if you put it full, it's pretty crazy. It's almost indefinite. Which is super fun if you want to stack. Like, beautiful. Not yet. We're not at the faders yet. The second knob is the tone. Well, from very bright, sometimes it's super nice with that very, yeah, almost 80s to very dark reverb. Let's put it at noon for now. And then the third knob, freeze pitch. Freeze pitch, you say, yes, freeze pitch, because this knob, if you press it once, super easy, it just freezes the reverb sound. And the best thing about this, if you now play guitar, we still have reverb. No. Yes. And another cool thing, we can pitch the frozen signal an octave up or an octave down and everything in between. And if you want to hit the 4th up or the 4th down, there's little regions in the knob where it's easy to find, so you don't have to guess, and then it just stays there for a while. And it's super useful for, you know, having the 1, the 4 and the 5 chord, because if you go a 4th up, well, too much theory. Anyway, it's super nice. Like this, A minor, D minor, E minor, and back to A minor. The 3 chords you need, the only 3. So that's the freeze pitch, and you can control the volume of the freeze with the secondary function. And the volume is related to the blend knob. So super useful, I love this stuff. So now to the magic, the modulation, the air and the flux. So this is where you can have fun with the reverbs. So far these are all the basic functionalities, but now we have fun. Modulation, and this one is super musical. I love how this works. The first half, it just adds modulation inside the room. That's how I see it. So we get a modulated room. So first, without any modulation at all, it sounds like this. pretty dry. It can be very nice, it can be useful, but now halfway. So this is where you change the room into a very modulated room. Yeah, and if you push it even more, now we change the whole sound into modulation. Yeah. The cool thing, it's never really too extreme. It's very usable, and the secondary function determines the rate from very slow modulating sounds to a little bit more fast modulating sounds, which are more extreme. So a very useful fader. I like to leave it here most of the time. So now to air. Oh man, where do we start? You hear a shimmery, lovely, angelic soundscape on top of the reverb. It just blends in very nicely, very smoothly. And I usually like to have it so subtle that you don't really hear it, but if you take it out, you miss it. It's very nice. Like this, yeah. But you can get more extreme. Yeah, some call it shimmer. And then the secondary function, if you move it all the way down, we have a lower octave. And that is so lovely, especially in the room mode with a little less decay. That's very cool. Very fun. And then halfway you get both. So the octave up, the octaves, and the lower octave. Yeah, so we have the low octave giving out this ominous sensation. And the high octaves pulling us into the light. That's just super nice. And then the Flux, well, so this is where we just have a lot of fun, really. So this is really based on the Geiger meter, you know, that if you go to a nuclear power plant, which is still radioactive, it measures the amount of nuclear activity or something. And well, if you put the rate up and add it just a little bit, it is a lot of... Do you hear it? Very subtle. And if you lower the rate, it becomes a more of a rhythmic pattern, which is super fun. And then we didn't even discuss the lo-fi and the vintage mode yet. That is where the magic lies, really. Well, so we go to secondary mode. It's now on normal. As you see, the 3 is illuminated. And then with this knob, we can go to vintage and lo-fi. So it kind of says it all already. And in each of the 3 modes, also, we change what the modulation does, for example. So vintage adds a subtle wow and flutter and has a warmer reverb sound in general. And then the lo-fi takes things even further with maximum modulation and the musical low fidelity, or like grit. You immediately hear it, right? There's some sort of overdrive happening on the reverb, if you want to put it simply. There's less high end, there's more grit to the sound. what's super cool, in these vintage and lo-fi modes, the dry guitar is also affected, which is something I just love about this pedal. We're getting into a different world and we cannot exclude the guitar from this. So we can demonstrate this by making it full dry. This is normal. Vintage adds a little bit of modulation to the guitar. It's very subtle, but it pairs so well with the reverb. And then if you go to lo-fi, it's adding a little bit of overdrive and compression and makes the guitar a bit darker. So let's compare all three. That says it all. Beautiful. Ooh. That's the lo-fi mode. Let's go to the hall, because it's a little bit less pompous than the Reactor mode, but just very pleasant reverb. And then the room, it's just, you know, when you want some reverb, a very good reverb. It's just there. And apart from the 128 presets you can recall with MIDI, there's also 3 presets available on this pedal. Simply flick the switch to the 3rd position, and there you can recall preset 1, 2, or 3 readily available. And of course, if you are in live mode with a rocker switch to position number 1, it's very easy to save your favorite sounds. Just hold the switch, choose a destination 1, 2, or 3, and save. There we are. Massive, right? So these were some of the sounds, but you can imagine that the endless combinations of all these parameters, all the different modes, gives you so much sonic flexibility. It's just insane. So much fun. I love playing with this pedal. So it is available now, worldwide, everywhere. And it's been a pleasure developing this pedal. It took us so long, but I'm super proud of this, and I hope you find it fun and it can inspire you as well. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Emilio, for, well, keeping up with me and accepting all my wishes and making them come true. It's really a dream. And yeah, you can get yours. Take care and have a lovely day. See you next time.